Welcome back, everybody. We are on episode 7 of the NEW podcast. Some wrestling news went on. Backlash. Not gonna lie, it was a pretty fire pay-per-view. But QJ and Tears, how we doing today? Y'all looking forward to today's episode?
Uh, More or less. I can't really think of really too much right now. More than likely, at the end of the episode, I'll have more hype into it because we talked about this stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. QJ, what about you? How we feeling today?
Pretty good.
Did you like Backlash? We watched together. What did you think of the pay-per-view overall? I for one, thought it was a really good pay-per-view.
Yeah, wasn't too bad.
Yeah, the main event got 5 stars by Meltzer, and Meltzer giving WWE any credits a shocker nowadays. But
Okay, rephrasing anything that's not NXT.
yeah,
WWE.
literally. But the first
We
time we
still
got
have.
today, I'll go ahead, Tears.
I was gonna say, like, we have all those Gargano Andrade matches.
Yeah, that match was still one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life. So we're gonna be talking about Cody and Joe to start off. Joe recently lost the title. Cody recently won the title. They kind of flipped
What
around the
par-
same time,
what
and
parallels?
yeah, pretty much, yeah. And there's been questions. Even Cody said in his presser, like, now that I've won the title and the chase is over, the chase was so fun and enjoyable. And now sometimes he paraphrasing here, but he said like, sometimes in my mind I think, okay, I've won the title, now what? And Joe could be one of them guys you could say, oh, is Joe better at chasing or as champion? So Tears, I'll start with you. With Cody and Joe, do you see both them better as chasers or champions in your mind?
All of a sudden, I just got flashbacks to when we talked about this with a certain person named Dean Ambrose when he won the WWE Championship, and we said after his reign, like, he's probably better as a chaser than a champion.
Oh
But
hell yeah.
it's for Cody, I think it's way too early to say that for certain. Is he a good chaser? Yeah, but it's not like that long of a chase, like potentially. But yeah, I can't say anything for Cody right now. Joe is a tricky one because people want to say yes to that, but I'm not really too sure about that because I like when Joe actually wins the title because I'm a Joe fan. I like seeing him actually be seen as the most dominant person on the roster at the moment. So I guess for me, it's more like Joe. He is a good chaser, but I feel better when he is the person that's being chased after. Because just like, A, you're wondering why the person's doing this, and B, you're wondering if his opponent will actually be able to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, about Joe. For me, like you said, it's a little too early for Cody. I can see why some fans like Cody. Some baby faces just come across as like better chasers and champions. I can see Cody kind of falling in that bucket. Joe, I feel like Joe's could be a better champion just because he's that heel dominant champion that's just so tough to be. Kind of like a Gunther and a Reigns type. Not on that level, but like he's just like that badass heel who you want to see lose, and he's just been dominant. So I'll go Cody, better chaser, Joe, better champion. But QJ, what about you? What do you think about Joe and Cody? Champions, chasers, what do you think they're better at in your mind?
Cody, too early to say with Chaser. Like him as a champion. Uh, People gotta realize he's a worker, so you're gonna see matches he gonna be in and up for matches. I think people gonna love the product a little bit more, but I know a lot of people not really into it. They don't. They just like seeing people talk all day instead of wrestling. Um, with Joe, yeah, champion, cause when he holds the champion, oh yeah, this guy's a threat. Who could stop him? Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, both both have their pros and cons of both being champions and chasers. I think you could say that really for any wrestler. We just have to see how Joe does without the title. We'll have to see how Cody does with the title, and
We've seen for a lot of times what Joe's like with the or without a championship. Like we've seen him with that one and being the chaser. Like we've had enough time with him definitely because people might not will probably be surprised about this, but when it comes to Joe with world titles, he doesn't have that many.
not really. Wasn't he TNA champion for like a short period of time, and then obviously
for his
NXT
entire
World Champ, and then AEW World Champ, Ring
for
of
his
Honor.
entire time in TNA, he has only been two-time TNA champion. For Ring of Honor, I believe maybe also two times or three times, one of the two. For NXT, technically two, but does it really count when he just won it back at a live event, like after losing it to, I
That's
think
true,
it
yeah.
was Finn Balor?
Wasn't it like the Beast in the East, or was that one Finn won?
Finn beat Balor, or yeah, wow, that sounded horrible.
Finn beat Balor.
Finn beat Joe at Beast of the East.
Okay, yeah, I remember that match. It was really good, but I didn't remember who won.
And I think that was the last time he technically held a world belt until the AEW belt.
It's crazy how much of a long career Joe's had. It's crazy. It's a long and historic career.
He's been wrestling as long as people like Bryan Danielson, CM Punk,
Loki. He's in his 40s now, Joe, I think. He's like 43, 42, maybe.
Around there.
Yeah.
Wait till we get the promo like we got from Kevin Owens saying like, I'm probably not going to wrestle too much longer, but still going to do stuff.
Yeah, I heard about that KO interview. Yeah, he's pretty much saying like he just wants to have fun at this point, which makes sense. KO's getting close to 40. I think he might be 40 now, actually, but I have to see. So WWE's doing the King of the Ring. Had some pretty good matches on Raw. I enjoyed the Dragunov and Ricochet match. The Gunther and Sheamus, they always have good matches against each other.
They usually have bangers.
Yes, it was a banger on Raw. Very good. Sheamus's chest was red, as every opponent Gunther has. But QJ, I'll start with you. Does Gunther being in King of the Ring make it too predictable in your mind, or do you see Gunther potentially getting pinned again by somebody, a Dragunov? What are your overall thoughts on him being in it?
I don't mind Gunther being in it. He just don't need to win it. And he can still put on classic matches. He had a good match with Sheamus. People didn't see that on Raw. But them two always have good matches. And I feel he's going to make it to the finals. But he don't need to win it. Let someone else win.
Do you think Dragunov should win? Well, I think, him and Dragunov will face each other in, I think, the semifinals. Do you think Dragunov, since he's beat Gunther before, do you think he should be the one to beat him?
I think they're actually going to be the finals if that happens.
No, because I think it's Raw against SmackDown. I think Raw would face SmackDown in the finals. So they would face off in the semifinals. Yeah, I mean, for me, I just have a hard time seeing WWE let him get pinned twice in 3 months. I just find that hard to believe unless there's like interference or some bullshit that happens. I just don't see them saying, okay, we just had this guy go 3 or 4 years without getting pinned. Let's have him get pinned twice in 3 months. Like it's just tough for me to see that. But Tears, what do you think about Gunther being in the King of the Ring tournament?
I don't really mind it. And plus, like with the whole not getting pinned thing, I mean, you could always do the dusty finish to where like he gets screwed over by someone, Dragunov, because a lot of people are saying like it's either going to be Dragunov or Gunther who wins it. I'm okay with either or. I can see the pro for Gunther being it. It's okay. He just lost his IC belt, time to win the King of the Ring and potentially get a title shot. I don't know if he... Nah, he wouldn't beat Cody. But him versus Priest, maybe? Not too sure about that, but Dragunov is also the good pick, so... Is it
Those
predictable?
two feel like the favorites, for sure.
Is it predictable a little bit with both of them in it? But I wouldn't say it's just like a guaranteed Gunther.
Yeah, it's like
I'm okay with it.
I've heard some fans say Jey Uso should win it. Do y'all think that?
No.
You know, yeah, I don't know. He'd be an interesting option. I just don't think he'd.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard him a lot in the comments. Jey Uso, he's hot. Because some fans are saying he's on like a Daniel Bryan hot with the crowd right now. They're saying everybody's doing the yeet.
The chanting, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Popularity, I'm not too sure about that. However, the reason I was chuckling to myself just now is because I was just thinking, oh, he's going to be the Yeet King.
Oh, man, that would be kind of...
But
they sell some merchandise with it, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Would it be the worst thing ever that WWE's done with the King of the Ring? When was the last time it was taken seriously? Let's be honest.
That's a good question. I mean, Woods was okay. King Corbin.
I think it was William Regal, and even then, it wasn't really that much.
Yeah, it's kind of.
That was like what, 2008, 2009?
Yeah, that was a minute ago. Yeah, we'll just have to see how they treat it. I mean, depends who wins it. Depends how they book it.
As long as we get good matches, I don't care.
Hell yeah, and Gunther. But fans gotta dim down their expectations with Gunther and Dragunov. I, for one, want to see it. but it's not going to beat that NXT UK match they had.
They need to
It's
go
just
watch the
not.
UK. Go
But they
watch
Yeah,
that
they
one.
do.
But
That
if
match was
it's the
incredible.
semifinals, though, that doesn't mean they shouldn't try to.
Oh, they definitely should try it, but I feel like
Mm-hmm.
fans are expecting that level of a match. Maybe
And it
Triple
gonna
H
be,
just,
could be.
but that match is just so tough to top because it was so incredible. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. So WWE's been having a lot of debuts. We'll talk about in the next episode a few of them, but there's been rumors going around that Jacob Fatu, he's obviously signed with WWE. They're waiting to debut him. Who knows if he'll be in the Bloodline or the new old Bloodline or whatever the hell they got planned for that. There's a lot going on with that, but reports say that they're afraid of debuting him, that he might make Solo look bad or outshine Solo Sikoa, who's this new leader of the Bloodline and everything. So Tears, I'll start with you. Would you be nervous if you're Triple H and WWE creative? Would you be nervous debuting Jacob Fatu, who we were talking a little bit before? You were saying he's like a better version of Solo. Would you be nervous debuting him with Solo? Should he debut on Raw on opposite brands of Solo? How should they do it with Jacob Fatu?
First off, I didn't say he was a better Solo. That's putting words in my mouth. I just said, like, unfortunately,
Bootleg Solo or what?
Thank you. Yes,
I didn't know which
because-
one you were referring to because you said it's a bootleg, so I didn't know if you were saying Fatu's better than Solo, but he's just a bootleg Solo.
Right, I get what you're saying, but what I meant by that is to where, like, everything that Solo kayfabe is, Jacob Fatu just is. Like, they don't need to push him, like, moveset-wise, family-wise, like, character-wise. He just is already that. He already has all the things that they want Solo to have, but he does them a lot more cleanly. He does them a lot more with that the fans like seeing as well. So it's, like, one of those things to where, like, if you had Jacob Fatu, which they do now, you kind of messed up Solo because you booked this guy to be that. So it's just like, what are you going to do with Jacob now that his whole shtick is already given to Solo, who's in a major storyline, a major part of the roster, and plus if you put him in the Bloodline or any part of the Bloodline except for, like, against it, it's going to be really awkward because it's just like it's going to be the fanfare is just going to hijack it like they would. We all know that they're going to definitely hijack any promo that has Jacob and Solo in it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would be afraid of debuting him, but you could debut him, just have nothing to do with the storyline. Like, that's the only thing you could do is, like, keep him away from the show that has the Bloodline.
Yeah, they should probably debut him on Raw. I've never
NXT.
seen a Jacob Fatu match. I ain't gonna lie, I've never seen any of his work. I've seen Twitter, a lot of people talk about him, say he's a beast. He's doing like moonsaults and shit from his size. Looks very impressive. So maybe they put him on Raw, give him his own kind of chance to shine before they involve him in something like that. I wouldn't throw him right in the Bloodline stuff. I personally would just not do that. I know there's the connections. He's related to all of them. It just feels like putting him in Solo is just gonna, like you said, be very awkward and weird. But we'll see.
I say NXT.
That'd make a lot of sense too. I mean, that's where they started Solo too, so maybe they could build him. We'll have to see. QJ, what are your thoughts on WWE being nervous about Jacob Fatu outshining Solo Sikoa? What do you think
Just
about
keep
it?
him away from the bloodline. Let him do his own thing, and then after a while, he can do on him.
Yeah, they should probably they should just ease him into it. Just kind of take their time.
Maybe see if, like, they can do something that kind of separates him from both him and Solo being, like, a descendant of Umaga. Like, see if you can probably finagle Jacob Fatu to be something different, I guess.
Yeah, and then down the road they could eventually face off or something like. I'll have to see. I mean, at least WWE Vince one just threw him on TV already and had him dancing or something. So at least Triple H is taking his time and.
Make him a Rikishi.
Yeah, legit.
You look fine today.
They should bring Rikishi in the story. He's been really wanting to be involved. I don't know why they won't bring him. He's been wanting to be involved in it.
How? How would you do it?
I mean, he couldn't have been like a special referee for his son's matches at Mania, or like, I don't know. He just keeps saying on his podcast, "I live in Tampa. Get me for something. My boys are in a match. My boys are in a feud. Grab me." Like,
I feel like that would just over convolute, even though it's over
yeah, possibility.
convoluted, but still.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends how they would bring him in. I guess they don't want to have too many Samoans, which that's literally half the WWE
Well,
roster at this
I say it's
point.
just like more on the lines of just like overbooking it. Like you're just doing too many things in one storyline.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, guess we'll see if they ever bring him in. So the next topic, it's a little old. It happened about a few weeks ago, but Tony Khan said some comments. He was being interviewed by the NFL. He obviously his dad owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, so he was at the NFL draft. He was doing in the interview. They were asking about AEW, all this other stuff. So I'm not going to read the entire quote, but here's the ending of it. WWE is our competitor. That's who we're facing. AEW is like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. WWE is like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. And I'm really proud of what we do down here. Got a lot of people talking. Very controversial, especially the Harvey Weinstein part. And most people know who Harvey Weinstein is, I would think. So I don't need to go into all that. But
Now people don't know. They don't know who it is. You should tell them.
Enlighten them.
Yeah, you should explain it to them.
I mean, it's too much. Pretty much, he's a pedophile who's in prison right now for having.
No, he did.
Yeah. So I'll just leave it there. Look it up on Google if you want to hear more about him and everything. There's videos and everything else. But so my thoughts on this is, you're saying WWE is the Harvey Weinstein, and Vince, you could say, is similar to Harvey Weinstein. Maybe I mean, we don't know if Vince is actually guilty or not. I mean, yeah. And Vince hangs out with Trump. Trump's been accused of a bunch of stuff. So I mean,
He is not also on the list.
Yeah. So if Tony Khan was talking about WWE a few years ago, maybe I could agree. I still don't think you should be saying that on national television with a bunch of non-wrestling fans and everything. And to me, you should be putting over your own product. You don't need to mention WWE. Put over AEW. Just say, check us out on TNT, TBS. We got good wrestling. We're trying to build something. Check us out. That's all you had to say, in my opinion. But Tears, what do you think about Tony Khan's comments?
Oh, it's one of those things where like I can't help but laugh at how off the walls he just went. Because you mentioned like AEW is the Pepsi and the WWE is the Harvey. You could have just led with they're the Coke. Like, I would have personally just said like we're the best alternative to WWE. And yeah, fucking like show some support for your own brand instead of like attacking the other. People don't like when you do that. But it's just like that was just too left field. Like you you left nothing for any. Like even I'm having a hard time processing that still.
Yeah, it's one of them comments where you just think, was it necessary? Like, I get it.
No.
Like, I get Triple H. Don't get me wrong, Triple H has said some stupid shit at pressers too lately. So I'm not on because in wrestling, it seems like there's the WWE fans and there's the AEW fans. You can't like both or you're just a criminal. That's how they all act. They act like you can't like both companies. We're at war. There's the AEW fans, the WWE fans, there's the Tony Khan defenders, there's the Triple H defenders, and there's nobody who should like both. But I mean, how do you defend Tony Khan mentioning Harvey Weinstein here? I mean, it's on national television on the NFL draft where millions of people are watching. Like, why? What? How does this benefit AEW saying that? Like, it's I don't know. QJ, what do you think about Tony Khan's comments overall?
He always saying some comments he could easily keep to himself. Worry about your own company. It's always something with this dude. We hear something new with him. He say something he should have just kept to himself. And he need to just worry about that, man. We'll just leave it there. No comment, though.
Yeah, Tony Khan's always in the news for saying something or doing something.
You can't say whenever he speaks it ain't anything not interesting.
Yeah, he keeps it interesting. And now he's an on-screen character now in AEW, which is also. I remember him saying he would never do that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge.
Tony Khan, like, I just feel like he doesn't know how to be professional about running a
He
You know what I
don't.
company.
think it is?
He don't at all.
You know what I think would happen?
What is it,
He
Tears?
panicked. He panicked.
Mm-hmm.
He quickly panicked about the ratings, like the situation. Like he was just like WWE is caught back up because they have Triple H instead of Vince. Like the booking, like so much positive like wording is happening in WWE now. Like he just panicked. I feel like that's just it. Now he's just like trying to figure out what to do, what to say, and he probably thought like people like an authority angle. Here I am, but I'm gonna be a face authority figure, which never works. We've established that face authority figures do not exist.
No, not really too much. Usually they become heel at some point or just act.
Right. And
I
then all
don't.
this wording is just like I think he in his head he's unfortunately doing the thing to where like any publicity is good publicity, but that's not a true statement. I hate when companies do that, man.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
like I compare Tony Khan to like a YouTuber. You want to get people talking, right? You want to put like a good thumbnail that gets people talking. And Tony Khan wants to say a controversial statement that'll get people talking about him. But the thing is that gets you talking about in a negative light, and you're the owner of the company. You're not just some wrestler or some GM or some booker or whatever. Or he is the booker or like a creative person, whatever.
He's not an on-screen character.
Yeah, like
Like people know you're in charge.
exactly. And you saying something like this, like yeah, it's got people talking, but has it benefited you? And it's like
He just want the spotlight.
he does, yeah. It's
I
you
just
give my
picture in my head like Tony Khan, like when Punk was going off on the interview, like him just like realizing what he just did and just like awkwardly like drinking his water or something, just being like, "What have I done?"
yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean,
Like I did not think this through, but I gotta live with my consequences.
and he definitely has them. I mean, I just hope AEW gets to turn around. I enjoy their matches, but the ratings have been bad, the attendance has been bad, and he's spending a ton of fucking money on Mercedes Moné and Will Ospreay, and Mercedes Moné has been. We'll talk about that in the next episode as well. Mercedes Moné's criticism, but it's just you can spend all the money you want. Are these people going to draw more people into your show? And it just seems like they're not. So I hope it turns around. But there's only so much money. I don't give a fuck if your dad's a billionaire or
I will
what.
say this:
But go ahead, dude.
Kenny versus Okada. That
Oh, that will be spectacular.
That's gonna be something.
yeah,
But the
like I'm just
pro
saying, like
but the problem is AEW doesn't promote their stuff. They don't build up matches. They
No, they
don't
don't.
get people watching. I remember they did the MJF and Omega match, and they let people know like a week
That should
before,
have been
like,
on
oh
the
yeah, we're
damn
doing
pay per
this.
view.
Hell yeah, and it's like you gotta let fans know, okay, this is happening in 3 weeks from now. Let's build this match up for 3 weeks, get fans invested. Why is this match happening? He doesn't do that. He'll just throw a random match on TV the next week and be like, "Oh yeah, we're doing Kenny Omega against Will Ospreay next week with that week notice." Like, that's a match you got to build up. So I hope if he does do Okada and Omega again, which who knows when Omega be cleared to come back, hopefully soon. Hopefully he builds it up. But I mean, Tony Khan, I don't know. He's got to get together. These comments are just ridiculous.
but
And
they're
Triple
still
H has made some
funny.
stupid comments too. Like I
Me
said,
too.
Triple H
Mm-hmm.
ain't innocent either. But we'll see. So there's been rumors of potentially. Well, I saw the other day Eric Rowan signed back with WWE, which I thought was interesting. And Bo Dallas has been teasing Uncle Howie. There's been kind of screen flashes on Raw during matches of like weird stuff going on. A lot of people were guessing that's going to be Bo as Uncle Howdy. And there's been rumors of potentially a new version of the Wyatt family with, I believe, Dexter Lumis, Nikki
And
Cross,
Joe Gacy.
Joe Gacy, Bo, and Eric Rowan. So, QJ, I'll start with you. Would you mind a new version of the Wyatt family? Do you think it's needed? Do you like that it's a tribute to Bray? And what do you think of all the members in it? What is your overall thoughts on that?
It'll be a good tribute. Like to see that. We've always got a tribute. It'll bring life back because I feel after Bray, people don't really. I don't know. It's like when a person's gone. Uh, that's why everybody talks about them. But then when they was alive, they don't really say too much. So it should be good.
Yeah, I mean, Braun Strowman, I would say maybe add him, but I don't know if he'd be interested in that. Guess it depends. But I've always liked the Wyatt family. I just didn't like how they had him always lose. I feel like Bray, when he was in the
Mm-hmm.
Wyatt family, just always lost every single match, and it just became to a point like, okay, this guy can talk, but does he actually win anything? And it's just like everybody fits in that group that they said. I mean, everybody kind of has like a dark side or evil gimmick. Dexter Loomis, I forgot he was even on the roster. I haven't seen him since like 2 years ago. So get him involved in something, I guess. Nikki Cross,
Please.
same with her. Yeah.
Cross is a former women's champion.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. For a week, cashed in, won, and lost a week later. That was still ridiculous.
I
But
forgot about him.
yeah, it's
So certain names that you brought up is actually good that they might be able to do something because like I still, for example, Judgment Day, like WWE was not doing anything with Damian Priest. Like that was
I
for
think he
sure.
was U.S. champ for a little bit, and after
US, I
that, he
think,
kind of
yeah.
floundered in
Mm-hmm.
between. Finn was kind
Yeah.
of
So
just losing, doing whatever. Rhea,
so
eh.
factions do help.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
So
do.
I
Mm-hmm.
can't imagine this being too much of a negative.
it would definitely be a benefit to everybody mentioned because everybody mentioned really Gacy's the only one doing anything that important right now. Even if you count him doing anything, I mean, I haven't really watched NXT every week, but I've
He
seen
had a
him.
great match with Dijak.
Yeah, I heard that match is
Okay.
pretty good, but it's always good to have to. I mean, I heard Edge. I think he did like interview with I think Sam Roberts. He was
Sam
saying
Roberts. Yeah.
yeah, and he was saying like the idea of Judgment Day. He wanted to get a bunch of people who aren't really doing much who we could elevate, and he threw out a bunch of names. I think Liv Morgan was mentioned in that group, and it's always good to kind of if they're not doing anything, okay, let's try this out. If it don't work, it don't work, but at least try to get these people on TV. And
Mm-hmm.
I even
Loomis
remember.
is good, but you said what? Too?
I remember Damian Priest talked about that too, to where like he felt like if this fails, like the Judgment Day failed, then that's it for him. Like he is not going anywhere in WWE.
Yeah, because Priest is
Definitely agree.
he's in his 40s. A lot of people don't know that Priest is not the 40s old, at least to me, but like he's 41, 42. I think. I mean, he's been around for a long time in wrestling. People forget how long Priest has been in wrestling. Or I think he started later actually in wrestling, but
Yeah, he started late. He was in ROH first as Punishment Martinez for 2017. I could be wrong. I could be very much wrong.
yeah, he definitely started in his late 30s. It seems like, and it was good. Him and Rio. Rio's a star. I don't care what people say. Vince just didn't see nothing in there, I guess, at that point. But like, it benefited all of them. Even though Edge got kicked out of the group, the direction went different, and they put Finn in it or whatever. It's really made all of them more important. And
Well, in that same interview that he did with Sam Roberts, he mentioned to where like Vince wanted him to come out in like bat gear, like vampires and stuff, and float down from the crowd, or have them
oh my
carry him on a
god,
chariot type stuff. Like they wanted to go full on dorky, like
sounds about
gothic
right for
stuff.
Vince. Yeah, glad they didn't do that. That would have just ruined the whole
So,
group.
and I think Edge leaving prevented that from happening.
Good, because that would have been awful. Yeah.
Leaving the group, not WWE, just
Yeah,
before
just
any
the group. Yeah, at that
shenanigans.
time. Yeah. We'll have to see. I mean, do I see any of them being a world champion out of that group? No, but they could be like an interesting group to feud people with, or we'll just have to see. I mean, I think it's an interesting idea. I've always
I
been
can
a
see
Bo
some IC
fan,
and
so
US belts.
yeah, that could be something for him. I mean,
I can see a good tag team run with Loomis and Gacy.
that would be fun too. I mean, there's a lot of options. You got, a woman's wrestler, four males. Rowan, maybe he's like the guy. I don't know what Rowan could do. Let's just be a
Literally
guy.
just sounds like Judgment Day with those numbers.
Yeah, literally. Maybe we'll get at them in Judgment Day feud. That would be something, I guess. If Judgment Day stays together that long.
Yeah,
But
like I was about to mention that.
yeah, because they've been teasing Dominic and Liv having a romantic story, so that's something.
I we'll talk about that later.
But yeah, that's been teased a lot. So Drew Gulak's been in the news. I'm sure a lot of you heard what Ronda Rousey said about him, how he randomly walked by and grabbed her shirt, I think, or I don't know what the complete story was. But Ronda's been saying a lot of stuff lately, so it's hard to believe what she says. But Gulak, Triple H said they chose not to renew his contract. And there's been a lot of controversy about Gulak, how and I'm going to go ahead and read what Wrestling Purists, shout out to them on Twitter. Several NXT talent made claims that Drew Gulak was a bully who would often target injuries during matches with talent that were recovering from minor injuries at the time. One talent claimed that during a match with Gulak, he purposely re-dislocated a previous dislocated finger, while another claimed that Gulak would intimidate talent into not reporting the incidents. There was an incident during the NXT taping last year where Gulak was verbally reprimanded by Shawn Michaels and NXT coaches for intentionally spiking an opponent during a match. One NXT talent who worked with Gulak know that he was odd in the sense that he would often test talent to see if they would react to his bullying. So QJ, what do you think about that report about Gulak? Are you happy to see him gone after all that? And what do you think?
Yeah, get him out of here. We got some problems.
Yeah, re-injuring people, that's really messed up.
Like, what grudge you got? Like,
Yeah, guess he's just one of them bull. It's kind of like who was that one NXT?
JBL.
Him, but who was that other NXT coach? They said bullied people when he got fired.
Bill DeMont.
Yeah, him. It sounds like another case of that where he was kind of bullying talent and I mean re-dislocating someone's finger. Really?
like
Yeah,
what?
What is the point being proven? Like.
That's a fight. That's a fight on the street.
Yeah, that's.
I'll tell him I need a street fight with this guy. All out.
Yeah, a real match, a shoot fight in the middle of the ring. Yeah.
Oh
Don't
God,
let the door
also
hit you on the way out. Go ahead, dude.
You said shoot fight, and that reminded me like Braun Strowman currently talking about the
Brock
real punch he
Lesnar.
got. Yeah, like it just reminded me instantly of that. It was just like, imagine doing that to somebody who ain't gonna deal with your shit. Like, you gotta be careful who you do, and not saying you should do that at all, but just like, you really don't think, like, you might have just messed up. Because imagine if it was against someone like Kenta, who is not gonna be taking that stuff, or Loki, who's definitely not gonna be taking that stuff. Like, there's people you don't mess with.
Yeah, and luckily Gulak was, I wouldn't even say luckily, but I think he knows a lot of NXT talent. Like, if they say anything about him, he'd be like, oh, I'm a veteran here. I didn't do that. Who are you going to believe? The guy who's been here for, sheesh, how long has Gulak been there?
Since the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah, it's probably 2014, 15. He's been there a long time, I mean, but.
Has it been that long since the Cruiserweight division?
Yeah, it's really been a minute. I mean, 2015, I think, was when it was. 14, maybe. I mean, it's been a long. 16, I think, maybe when it was. I don't know. It's
Somebody's
been a long.
going to have to clarify that for us.
Yeah. But I mean, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I mean,
well, I think
like
he's
he was
still there until his contract expires.
Yeah, I think it already did. I think Triple H said we just chose not to renew it or something like that. But I mean, I don't see him getting another job after these claims, especially after Ronda Rousey said what she said too. I mean, it's just kind of a lot of hot water being poured on his name.
Well, to be fair, I'm not saying it's fair to him, but it's hard to take Ronda Rousey on face value nowadays.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think Cody also said he was a prick too. I don't know if he was joking, but he said he just couldn't stand Gulak, and that Gulak apparently walked up to Cody or somebody and, like, I don't know the exact quote, but, like, Gulak was kind of jealous of, like, fans asking them for autographs. Something, and Gulak made like a snarky comment towards Cody or something. I don't know. I've heard some stories about Gulak, so who knows how much of it is true. I believe the NXT stuff, because, I mean, I don't see why Towns would make something like that up, but that's pretty messed up by Gulak. I mean, I don't know. That's hopefully a lot of that don't go on as much anymore in wrestling, but you just don't know what goes on.
Well,
on TV.
We said that, but keep in mind it's been going on way before. We've had the JBL talk. We've had since the Golden Era. Also, like, we may want to say, like, hopefully it's done, but we know it's
always going to happen. I mean, it's just, whether it's wrestlers or management.
It be what it be.
Yeah, it just happens, but.
So where's the anti-bully campaign now?
Yeah, it's out the window.
I will always make fun of those marketing campaigns because they don't
it
mean
was
anything.
corny
They
at
don't
the
do
time.
anything about them.
Nah.
Not just then, but they don't. Like, I still hate the Susan G. Coma thing that they did because it's like breast cancer awareness, not for the cure. But that's a nitpick. That's something that we don't need to go into. That's personal stuff.
Before we get into the final topic, I just want to shout out Jim Cornette. He actually gave credit to Samantha Irving. He said he's a big fan of her. I'm surprised Cornette gave her flowers. I'm happy to hear that because Cornette don't give a lot of stuff positive feedback a lot of the time nowadays. But it's good to see he's a fan of her too. But final topic, TNA had a pay-per-view recently. Me, QJ, and James ended up checking it out. I enjoyed the Josh Alexander and Alex Hammerstone match, last man standing. I thought that match was spectacular. Main event, Nick Nemeth, a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler against Moose. Didn't think it was a 5-star, but I didn't really think it was, like, horrible. It wasn't, like, bad. There was a few botches, but it wasn't, like, horrible. Moose ended up retaining, and then Broken Matt Hardy showed up in the end, which has been rumored he's been a free agent, which I've never been a Broken Matt Hardy guy. I just kind of think it's corny and cheesy. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I just never really cared for it. But dude, I'll start with you. Well, they only had 500 total buys for this pay-per-view, which is just awful. I mean, I hate to see that for TNA. I enjoy some of the TNA's wrestlers, enjoy some of their matches, but what do you think about their pay-per-view getting only 500 buys?
Oh, that's so bad, man. That is so... Is it the... Yeah, no, I can't even say, like, it's not the worst I've ever heard. No, that's the worst I've ever heard.
Especially since they remarketed their like company back to TNA and they're only getting 500 buys on a pay-per-view. Like, that's...
Yeah, like, I generally just be like, I'm... Only 500, that's beyond shocking, man. I don't even know what kind of words I could have, because just like... I don't think a company has ever done that bad. Well, that could be completely false, but like
500 buys total for a pay-per-view? It's crazy. QJ, what do you think about that? I mean, you watch TNA from time to time. What do you think about the 500 total buys for their pay-per-view?
Yeah, no comment. I don't know. It's crazy.
It's hard to comment.
I have good wrestling. I mean, I know it's not about wrestling, but I don't know. Companies got to get. I don't know. I just wish.
What can you say like they need to do, because it's just like they're doing all they can.
They got the talent. I mean,
someone need to market them more. I don't know.
But that also costs money, and with 500 buys, like what kind of money will they even have?
So I think them getting rid of Scott D'Amore, not that it took fan interest out, but I think it took morale out of the locker room. But also, a lot of fans liked Scott D'Amore. He was kind of a TNA till I die type of guy. He tried to buy the company from Anthem. They said no. Apparently, he wanted to get bigger stars there. They said no. I don't know if the Anthem don't want to spend a lot of money, or if they just don't care about the company. I don't know, but...
Well, you saying that on them noses probably could have improved the company.
Yeah, it just sounds like they don't really want to put in the money or the time to make it better. Like
gotta do that. Have to.
Yeah, you're not gonna get better if you don't. And I mean, it just seems like wrestlers go to TNA and they kind of just go there to kind of get noticed, and then they just go to WWE or AEW. I mean, I don't know. Listen, anybody who hates on TNA, I get it. It had a bad rap. I know the 500 buys looks bad. It has some good wrestling. If you enjoy, check out Josh Alexander on the show. He's one of the best workers in the world. He don't really get the recognition he deserves because he's in TNA, but he's really good.
Check him out. Him and TJP, 60 Minute.
Yeah, that match was great. Him and Hammerstone, like I said, that last man standing match is really good on the pay-per-view. Don't let the broken Matt Hardy, if you don't like that silly shit, don't let that kill your vibe or kill what you want to see in TNA.
And if you do like it, then look. You got that too to draw you in.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just whatever your cup of tea is. But they got good wrestling. I don't watch it every week. We mostly just watch the pay-per-views. I don't know how the regular shows are. I don't know, but it's not the worst company in the world. Don't let its bad rap the last decade be a turn off for you. Just check it out, watch the show, watch the pay-per-view, and if you don't like it, don't like it, but at least give it the chance. Because I have a lot of friends who I know who, TNA, it's trash or it's not good. Like, that was 10 years ago. Like, it's a different. It's 2024 now.
That definitely hurts me too, because if it wasn't for TNA in 2010, I would not be familiar with the independent scene. I would not be like, all I would have is WWE, and I would just be like, okay, this is cool. But with TNA, it was just like I got to see people too, man. I got to see people, not only like I never seen before, like AJ Styles, Bobby Roode, James
Samoa
Storm,
Joe.
Biz, Samoa Joe.
Kurt Angle was there for a while. Kurt Angle honestly had better matches there than he did in WWE.
Better matches.
Yeah,
people. Better matches.
People to this day need to realize this also. He spent more time in TNA than he did in WWE.
Yeah, and his matches were like amazing.
And wait, like, what did you say about Kurt Angle? People remember him for his what now? I want people to hear this.
Kurt
what do people remember Kurt for?
The milk truck segment more than his matches.
And that's sad. That's very sad.
And I've heard a lot of people, even Chris Jericho said this, it's about the moments, not the matches. With WWE fans especially. Like, I mean, like, and this ain't me hating on the WrestleMania main event, but if people look back on that 10 years from now, they're not going to remember the match. They're going to remember Cody winning and Undertaker, Cena, Rock, all them showing up. Like,
I'm hearing people. My friend said we'll never see something like that again.
We probably won't, honestly. But
well, I had time to think about that match, and I got to be honest, that match doesn't have as much rewatchability.
It don't.
It's just the moments in the match. People are only going to talk about the people who showed up. The match itself wasn't like spectacular.
I think that's definitely something that matches also need, like the 2008 on TNA, because we're talking about them primarily right now. Like they have 2008 Unbreakable, this triple threat between Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. People still to this day are talking about that match.
That match was
Yep.
Because here's the thing, that match, like in on itself, was a rewatchable match. Yeah, you need moments in a match like the Cody and Reigns, but that's the thing. It's like that match is only gonna be remembered for the ending, and plus you would have to go for a whole 2 probably years and realize why that victory was so important. Whereas the triple threat Unbreakable, that match was just good. That match doesn't need moments. Like, yeah, it had spots, but it was remembered for the whole match, not just for like, what was the storyline? I don't know. What was it for? I don't know. Who was in it? Styles, Daniels, Joe.
Yeah, it's one of the top 3 matches ever in TNA. I mean, it's
right.
At the end of the day, fans have what they like. If you like stories, if you like matches, if you like segments, rivalries, all that. It's about what you like, but WWE to me is more about moments, and rightfully so. They make a lot of money off this shit. I'm not hating on how they do business because they're doing the best business they've ever done right now. So I can't hate on them for that. But it's not about the wrestling there. If you want wrestling, it's AEW. If you want stories, it's WWE. That's just the reality. You'll get good matches in WWE. Don't get me wrong, you will. But like I said, it's whatever your cup of tea is. So, any final thoughts from y'all before we wrap up this episode?
If you want hard-hitting moves, go to New Japan.
Yeah, New Japan. Yeah, 100%. QJ, any final thoughts?
And for people saying Ricochet's in his bag right now, I remember Tiz told me about Ricochet and the old company.
Let's not forget, Ricochet is currently the Speed Champion.
They didn't even have him wear the title on Raw.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the point? What's the point? Is it winning?
They got the title shit.
It's literally just a Twitter championship. It's literally just a title for Twitter.
What the hell is that thing, man?
Like, and the fact
can somebody elaborate that? Like, I saw screenshots of him with that thing. I was like, can somebody elaborate what is this?
It looks alright, but QJ, you were saying
it doesn't look alright. It looks like trash.
It does.
Trash.
I mean, it's just a Twitter title, too. I mean, it ain't nothing great.
I don't care. Trash is trash. You can put a bow on it for all I care.
Well, maybe they will. But QJ, what were you saying before we wrap it up?
And if people say Ricochet in his bag, I need them to go Lucha Underground. And then I'll tell it all right there. Or New Japan.
Again.
Prince Puma.
They need to go. They need to go and see the best out of them. That's all. I'm gonna end it right there. That's it.
Well, I hope you guys enjoy. We talked about a lot of topics. I had a lot to say. Make sure to like and subscribe. Peace.
Yeah.